Thanks. Thanks for the opportunity to come and share my testimony. I want to ask all of you guys just for half an hour to allow me just to speak to your heart, because it's something that really, it's close to me. I see people's lives destroyed every single day of my life. I work with people like you. Don't think it's never me. Don't be that person that think it's never me. Because I'm telling you, then you're living in a lie. I see good people killed. I see good people come to our rehab. I help a lot of people. It's my heart to help people. We're busy with something special here in town. You'll get to know about it soon. But I just want to tell you my testimony. So I was born in the Eastern Free State. Those of you that don't know, in the Eastern Free State, you either play rugby or you farm. It's very conservative. And my mom and my dad was divorced when I was 5 years old. My mom got remarried. My dad got remarried. I didn't really have a close relationship with my dad. My stepfather became like my father, and when we were 11 years old, we moved to Bloemfontein. And then one day, me and my sister, my brother, my mom did not come out the room on Sundays. It was funny. So my dad says she's sick, so it's fine. And then a couple of times went by, and we found out that my stepdad's abusing her, but physically, quite bad, so that she can't come out the room. So it's pretty bad. And it got worse and worse and worse. And you know what? You're at an age where you know what's going on, but you can't do anything because you're too small. But you're not stupid. You see what's going on. So you become this. It's like as you become angry at life. And one day we were sitting in school, and my mom just came there, and she came and fetched us, and we went home, and we packed our bags, and we left. So my mom left my stepdad, but we left with nothing. We went and lived in a flat, my mom and my brother and my sister. So it was tough, single mom, 3 kids. And I had a real beautiful mom. And she never drank, never ever, not even wine. And then time went by. One day we got home, me and my sister, going to the cupboards, and we found this bottle of vodka. We're like, yes, what's this? It's crazy. My mom, she doesn't drink. And we were like, we just left it. And then it got quite bad. Some nights she would not even make food. So she's drinking. And it became real bad. So now you've seen her getting abused, and now you're seeing this beautiful lady drinking, so that some nights she doesn't even make food. It's like this. It's quite terrible. And then, so I was getting more angry at life and at God. I was like, God, why is this happening to us? I can't understand. And in this drinking, a lot of men came there, but bad men. Some of them so bad that I would get into arguments with them, and I remember the one night the one guy head-butted me. It's I was 13 years old, man. It's crazy. And so we phoned my grandmother, and she came and she took my mom to rehab, and my mom came out, and she was like she was always. Never drinking, was like heaven. And then she met a guy inside rehab, and they became friends, and they started drinking coffee, and they got in a relationship, and they got married, and then he started drinking, and then my mom started drinking again, and it was 8 months, and she was dead from drinking. She stopped working. They only drank. That's all they did, drink. From the morning to the night. There was never food. She was always drunk, getting out the car at school, falling over. It was crazy. It was crazy. And by that time, I was the most angry person on this planet. I was very angry. Involved with smoking dacha, Satanism, anything that's wrong. I was just anything but God. So we went and lived with my dad and my stepmom, and we didn't really had a good relationship. They were always away. I was angry, never dealt with everything that was inside of me. got friends with all the cool guys, drinking, smoking dacha, school. And then one night we had a house party, and the guy puts a plate in the microwave, and they take the plate out and they cut the lines, and I have my first line of cocaine, and it was like, where has this stuff been? Because everything is just numb. Everything is just gone. So I became addicted to cocaine at the age of 16. I was dealing drugs at the age of 17. I've seen some bad stuff, really bad stuff. Don't think what you see today is what it was like when it was then. And I was just, everything that I did was for cocaine. Next hit, just making a plan to get enough, because I was like 2,000 rand a day. So that's what I was doing. That was my life. No God, no relationship with God, no relationship with anybody. I didn't care for anybody. I didn't feel for anybody. I didn't care for my brother, for my sister, for nobody. I just wanted cocaine. Finish. And after school, in between all this, I was like very good at cricket. I played Natal schools 3 years in a row on cocaine. And I went overseas and I played cricket there, county cricket, and I came back and I cocaine. It was just bad. It was very bad. But it got to a point where I lost everything. Everything. I had nothing. I was on the street. I was sitting there like this, with nowhere to go. Nobody wanted to help me, because I've destroyed everybody's life around me. I did not care for them. And I got to a point where I was like these people that you find on the street. Nowhere to go. Nobody to help. And I cried out to God, because I had a girlfriend a while back, and she asked me, do you know God? And I was like, what? Are you crazy? Leave me alone. I don't want to know anything about this. And then I went to my first rehab. It was a Christian rehab. It was my second rehab. First one didn't work. I went to the second one. It was a Christian rehab, and I got there, and I remember the guy was sitting in front of me, and I'm this angry guy, and he's like, are you going to give God a chance? I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you going to give us a chance? I'm like, I looked to my dad, and I'm like, I don't think this is going to work, because I'm not going to give God a chance. Look where I am. So, and I was like sat there. I was scared of dying. I knew that if I was staying outside, I'm going to die. So I said, okay, I'll give God a chance. And I did, like, it was an 8-week program. I did 8 weeks. I was sort of, it's like you're starting to, maybe it can, maybe. And I'm lying on my bed the night before I go out, because I'm scared. Really scared that I go back to the drugs, and I'm scared of dying. So I pray for the first time in my life. Really pray. And I'm crying. I'm like, God, please, if you are there, you'll show me. And I take the Bible and I open it like this. And it's Romans 10 verse 22. It says that I made myself found by people that did not look for me. I was like, what? I jump out the bed like this. And I run to the lady that's looking after us. I'm like, look what happened. And she's like, Jesus loves you. And it's the first time I really had an encounter with God. But not like it was like almost. And I went out and I was on fire. And I lasted 4 weeks. And then I relapsed. But it was different this time. It was not like relapse and then, because I used to use like every day, and then this was different. Relapse, and then I used for 3 weeks non-stop. If they find me, I'm like dead. I'm like a dead man. I'm broken, stuck in. It happened the third time, and my parents took me to Nopewood. It's a very bad place. It's not nice. It's there in the Karoo. There's only like dust and klippies and bossieties. It's very bad. Some of the oaks there cried to go back to jail. That's to explain you how bad it is. It's very bad. So I was walking around there and I was starting to think, but why am I finding myself here? What am I doing here? And I'm thinking and I'm like, because I want to come right. I don't want to die. Nobody of us wants to die. All of us want to live, I would think. And one day I'm in church and this pastor says, you have to have a revelation of the cross. You have to have a revelation of the cross. And I'm like, "Phew, the revelation of the cross, yeah." And I start walking around and I start reading my Bible. And I'm just praying. And then what I'm reading, and I'm walking around and because you walk everywhere there in that town. And I'm just starting to like meditate on the stuff that I'm reading. And one day I'm in church and this guy comes, he's like a missionary. But he's like a big guy. He's like a big, if he was to talk to me outside, I wouldn't even listen to him for 2 minutes. He's like greasy hair and funny guy. I'm like, "Ew." But he talks and he preaches and he says stuff, and all of a sudden it just opens to me. And I go and I fall on my knees in front of that church. And I cry for 3 days non-stop. And God reveals himself to me. And in that moment I'm like, I'm a son. I'm forgiven. I'm set free. All of it at once. It was just like, poof. All the hurt, everything just gone, just peace. It was like crazy. So I'm walking around there and I'm like, just crying, and God starts revealing stuff to me, and then I'm there for 6 months and stuff happens and I'm like, I can't be anymore. This place is, I'm on phone my parents, I'm like, I'm leaving. And the people from that place tell my parents I'm going back to the drugs. While I'm alright. So then my parents write me off. Those people go and drop me in Colesberg. I've got nowhere to go. Nobody wants to help me. No money, just a bag of clothes on the street. And there I am. And for the second time in my life, I really prayed. And I'm like, God, please help me. Because my heart was not to go back to the drugs. I was just not happy with what they were doing there. And I'm telling you in like an audible voice, I heard it as sure as what I'm talking to you today. God tells me, I'm going to raise you up in the business world and you're going to help people like you are. And I'm like, what? I'm sitting on the street with nothing. I stand up there. I hiked to a lady that I knew long ago. She puts me in the second rehab I was for another 6 months. In that 6 months, me and my father start talking again. I come out. I start working. 3,000 rand a month. I've got enough money for rent and for like 2 weeks of living. Not smoking. No money for smoking. So I start living like that. And there was days where I was like, I just want to give up. It was just too hard. I want to bail out of this. I don't like this. This is not, because it's not nice. It's not nice for the flesh. It's not to suffer. It's not nice. And I just kept that word. I'm going to raise you up in the business world. You're going to help people like you are. I just kept it. Kept in the word. Kept praying. Kept meditating stuff. Kept meditating that word in my life. Just speaking it. Prophesying it to myself. And gradually God started opening doors for me in business. I got given a spares department in the Western Cape where a lady went on maternity leave. They were doing like 1.2 million a year profit. The first year I got that place I did 3.7. From 3.7 it went to 5. From 5 to 6.5. I became spares manager of the year in that whole group. Then they gave me a sales department. From 18 million to 55 million. From 55 million, first salesman ever to write 100 million in 1 year. Not me, favor. Not me, God. God saying, I'm raising you up in the business world. You're going to help people like you are. Then people open up a business with me. They come, they see that I'm doing well and they want to open up a business, and they come and we open up a business. First year we're doing amazingly. Second year we're doing all right. Third year they close it. These guys, they close it. I've got 32 of my friends and people that I know working for me, including my brother and his wife. I have to tell them, listen, you don't have a job anymore. Just like this. It's not like a warning, just like this. And then you start thinking, but what is this? Because that's even tougher than what I went through before. Because I care for people. I mean, my heart's changed. It's not like it was back then. Now I love people with a passion. I want to help them and I want to see people walk in their purpose, and that's my heart for people. And here this thing happens, and it's the toughest thing that I've ever had to go through in my life. And then I start doubting this word that God gave me. Raise you up in the business world, but this one's closing. But then we open up another one. And then the people that I'm with cheat me out my share, and they stop paying me. So I go through the worst time of my life, even worse than when I got 3,000 rand a month. I got nothing. And in this, I get a lot of job opportunities because people know me. They phone me. They're like, do you want to come work for us? Do you want to come? And I say no. God says wait. And I wait. And I wait. And I wait. And I'm telling you, there was a few days that I was like a couple of times wanted to get out of it. Not once, like a couple of times. Because it's too hard for the flesh. But if you want to live a life of success, and if you want to walk in God's purposes, you're going to have to walk in the Spirit. You can't walk in the flesh, because you won't make it. So I asked God, what must I do? And he says, wait. And at a point I'm like, oh, wait, what? Wait for what? And one day I'm driving, and this guy phones me. I've done business with him once in my life. Once. I want to open up a business, and I want you to run it. I'm like, what? And then I go see him, and I tell him, I've got this business, this bed now, that I can get a franchise for the whole of Africa. We need so much money, and it's a lot of money, not a lot of money. And this is what we need. And he's like, let's do it. I've seen this guy once in my life. I'm talking like 60 million rand. It's a lot of money. And he's like, how much share do you want? I say 30%. He says, I'll give it to you. How much do you want to pay? So much. I'll give it to you. I could have bailed out and got another job, because I had a lot of other opportunities to get another job. But I waited because God said I have to wait. And now I've got this business again. But this is not the only thing. Last year, I helped 12 people get through rehab. I paid for it. Now we're opening up a place outside Potchefstroom. So God said 12 years ago, I'm going to raise you up in the business world. And you're going to help people like you are. There's the rehab. There's the business. But it's not the most important thing, eh? I've been married now for 7 years. I've got 2 beautiful, beautiful little girls. 5 and 3. Sometimes I find myself sitting on the couch and looking at them and crying. Because I can't believe that God's so good. It's not just the money. It's more than just the money. If you're going to chase the money, you're chasing the wrong thing. But if you're going to chase what God's got for you, it's going to exceed your expectations. Because it's bigger than what you think it is. He's going to open up doors for you. You're going to think it's impossible. It just opens. No, it's not easy. The flesh has to suffer for you to go through to what God has got for you. It's not easy to walk in God's kingdom. It's not easy. So if you start living a life where you're following the kingdom, where you want to live what God's got for you, it's impossible for you to make choices where you're going to get into trouble with drugs. And I know most of the people that I help today tell me, listen, yeah, I only tried. I was only with my friends, I only tried. something. I only smoked a bit of dacha. You're smoking dacha with a bit of heroin inside and you didn't know it. That's how these people operate. They don't care about you. It's not about a little lie. They want to get you hooked so that they can get your money, so they can break you, and if you're a girl, they're going to... It's very bad. Last week I fetched 2 girls out of Nigerians' houses in Witbank. They were busy human trafficking them. After they've been prostituting them for 3 years. The one girl that's with us now, she's 23 years old, she's got AIDS. I'm asking you, is it worth it? Just a little bit of dacha. And I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm trying to motivate you to walk in what God has called you to walk in. I'll hammer that home the whole day. You can't, there's no way that any one of you can ever tell me that it's not the way to live life. It's the only way. I'm not saying don't have fun. It's much more fun like I am now. I love it. Like I am now, it's nice. I don't smoke, I don't drink. I've been clean for 12 years. My wife drinks wine now and then. But I don't drink nothing. Not Christmas, not on my birthday, never ever. So I want to motivate you, and I hope that you listen to what I say to you today. Because don't think it can't happen to you. I see pastors' children coming there. I see the poorest of the poor coming there. I see the richest of the rich children coming there. It's not a thing that's for a certain race of people or for a certain class of... It's not. It's for everybody. Because these guys are out to kill you. They're not here to play games. You think you're buying a Zol with dacha, but it's laced with heroin and tik and all kinds of rubbish. We get people there, we tell them, because we test them before they come in. Then they need to test. They tell you they're only using tik, but they test positive for heroin, cocaine, whatever, because it's so laced. The drugs are mixed. So you think you're using one thing, but you're testing positive for everything. Then they can't understand why they're withdrawing so bad, why they sick, why they want to die if they don't use. That's how bad it's out there. But you don't have to get involved in that world. You can stay in the light. You can be the light. You can rather pull people from that world to you just by living your life the way you live it. You don't need to go and fetch somebody and pull him out of it. You just live the life that you live in the light, and they will follow you. So I hope that what I say to you really does something, and that it makes you think twice of. Just be aware of it. I'm not trying to scare you. There's no fear where God is, so. But I'm just it's like a warning, just like a think what you do. Don't just do something. And stay in the Word. God's got a calling for all of you. He's got big plans for all of us. I think there's a whole of heaven locked up with plans and blueprints of how to change this world. We haven't seen the best yet. The best is yet to come. So thanks for listening. I hope that it inspires you and makes you think twice. Thanks.